Hey, what's up? It's Mike the Ads Guy here, and ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Buckle up because I have a super exciting video here today to share with you. And what I'm going to do is literally show you the process, show you step by step how I took this brand from 0 to 106K in literally 77 days. Okay, and now be sure to stick around to the end of this video because for people who obviously sit through and watch this whole process, I have a nice little treat for you at the end. So be sure to stick around, see what that's all about. Without further ado, let's jump into the numbers here. Let's jump into some fun. So understand that there was a few key ingredients that helped this brand blow up the way it did, right? And that is number one, the product itself. It solved the problem. It was a training tool. So it solved the problem and it was listed at that impulse buy number. It's a $34.99 product, right? So that sub 50 mark, impulse buy for a lot of online shoppers. So that's number one, the product itself. Really good product. Number two was, of course, ad creatives. We had a lot of really good UGC content to work with the product in action, raw, authentic content. The owner himself got on camera and did a lot of this stuff. So content was really good. And we had a lot of it, which helped the ad account. Third thing, ad strategy, which obviously I'm going to dive into a little bit here as far as the double barrel strategy and what I did in the ad account to really scale this brand. So ad strategy as well as the scaling calculator, which I will be sharing screen here in a little bit, talking all about that, where you'll see all the numbers, when we scaled, what date we scaled, and the bottom line, right? So just know that before we jump in, those were the three key ingredients that really helped this brand go from 0 to 106K in 77 days. So now let's go jump into the Excel sheet. All right, so what you're looking at here is a very powerful tool, very simple, yet very powerful tool that I use all day, every day with accounts that I'm running ads with, okay? And what this is a scaling calculator. This is what helps us determine, hey, we're profitable, we should spend more on ads, right? I won't dive too deep into like this calculator, what it is, metrics, all that stuff. I'll have other videos. I know I dive deep into it in my course that shows you all of this, but for now, I want to give you an overview just so you understand what we're looking at here. So I went ahead and pulled the numbers specifically for this brand, and as you can see, May 15th to July 31st, that's the date range we're focused on here. That's 77 days, and you'll see that we generated $106,000 in sales during that time period with $16,000 invested in ads, okay? And that put our MER, okay, now let's back up. What's MER? MER stands for Marketing Efficiency Ratio. And again, like I said, I'm not gonna dive deep into the metrics and things like that, but basically what you need to understand is that this is your total sales. So if you're on Amazon too, you need to include Amazon. But basically, in this case, it's Shopify and Meta. We're driving sales on Shopify and spending money on Meta, right? So in this case, total sales on Shopify divided by total amount spent on ads on Meta, okay? That is our MER. Sounds a lot like ROI, right? Return on investment, or ROAS, return on ad spend. What MER is, it's pretty much a more holistic, more reliable metric for media buyers or people running paid ads to pay attention to. This is our scaling indicator. This metric right here tells us whether to scale or not. Now, because there is a metric inside Facebook called ROAS, as we all probably know, like return on ad spend. However, ever since iOS updates, we know that we can't look at ROAS as the North Star metric. We can't look at ROAS as our scaling metric, right? This is why we take a more holistic approach to brands and teaching them how to look at these specific metrics to help them determine to scale. So anyways, MER is at a 6.5x during this time frame. Typically the goal is 3x, right? With brands, like most brands, if they can be at a 3.5x MER, typically in a pretty good spot, right? These guys, 6.5x, so a lot of success there. They averaged about $1,400 in sales over the course of the 77 days. And now what you're going to see here, so this is these are actuals, right? These are actual numbers. And again, I'm showing you a little bit about the scaling calculator and what it's all about. And this is a tool, again, very powerful, simple tool that you can get access to in my course, and it dives deeper into how to use it. But again, I'm going to show you a lot of that right here. What this part of the calculator does is literally spit out our bottom line, like what are our actual profits after everything, right? So you'll see we pulled the actual MER with a 6.5x. Their COGS, they're a very profitable product, so they have 80% profit margins, which leaves them at about a 20%, 21% cost of goods sold, right? Daily average spend, so I took this number divided by 77 days. They average over the course of this time frame about $209 in ad spend a day. And that spits out, obviously, again, these are actuals, so that's the actual amount of revenue driven. After COGS, they grossed $83,000, and of course we have to include total ad spend. And after the total ad spend, their final profits after their cost of goods as well as their ad spend was 67 grand in the green. Very profitable, very successful. And you have in this calculator too, you can include it. It can almost be like a P&L if you wanted to. You can add your Klaviyo if you're doing email marketing. You can add Shopify subscription, all those other marketing softwares to help operate the whole digital marketing scene, right? So at any rate, these are the actuals. These are the numbers for this brand. And over here, what I have done is I've broken down like over a 2-week period. So I got May 15th, which is when we started, to May 31st. Then I have the next 15 days, June 1 through 15, and the next 15 days, 16, 30, then in July, right? And the reason I did this, obviously, because I don't want to be in the ad account, adjusting time frames while doing this video, going over to Shopify, showing the sales, all that stuff. So I pulled all this data already so we can look at right here at a glance. And so you guys can see how it's scaled. And I also put right here budget increase dates, right? Because I wanted you guys to see every part of this, because I know there's people out there that'll post these, I took this brand from X to X, but like they don't break down like, okay, how? Like, why did you scale? When did you scale? What date? What told you to continue to scale? So I really want to try to put all this together for you guys to actually see like these are legit things. These are the legit powers of paid ads, right? If you just have the right system, the right product, the right creatives. So at any rate, let's jump into this here. So again, we talked about the numbers. We talked about those key ingredients before this, and now we have our actual time frames here, and I pulled all the numbers. So May 15th to May 31st, we started out at $50 a day, right? $50 a day. In that 15-day span in May, they tracked a 6x ROAS with an 18x MER. They driven $14,000 in sales off $760 in spend, right? Really exciting stuff. And so at that point, late in the month of May 24th, I said, guys, this is like video game numbers. We need to increase spend. And we took it very conservatively, and we increased to $75 a day on the 24th. And now understand that when you scale, you don't want to shock the system. Now there's a whole strategy behind scaling, increasing by 30-40%, don't shock the algorithm. And that's a real thing, right? Like if we would have said, oh man, this is great, let's go to $1,000 a day, it really could have screwed this whole process up, right? And for a number of reasons, right? You're shocking the algorithm. Number two, you're telling Facebook to push your ad out there more, so it's going to get it in front of a lot more colder eyeballs, right? And then it's going to take time for these people to convert. So that's why it's always smart to scale strategically, which I'm showing you right here. So anyways, early start, early success right off the bat, and then rolling into June, all right? June 3rd, I said, guys, we're maintaining, we should continue to scale. So we pushed to 125. Now let me back up here. So again, we talked about this calculator, but how do you know? Why were things good? Why did you scale to 125 on June 3rd? Was it the ROAS? What was it? Well, literally what we're doing, right, is, okay, we scaled to $75 a day. So in real time, right, every 3 or 4 days, we go in here and say, hey, what's our total sales? Hey, we did, for example, $10,000 in sales off $3,000 in spend. Okay, just an example. These are not real numbers. But we say, okay, MER's had a 3x. Great. All right. And then they ran the numbers, and we were able to project and see what that bottom line would be by as long as we maintain that 3x MER and we're spending X amount we're spending right now, we're going to hit this much in final profits. Okay, great. We should continue to scale, right? So to give you kind of a real example with this actual brand here. So let's say, I don't know. Let's pick June 1st to the 15th. Yeah. So let's do that. So again, MER was a 7.9x. So we would come over here. Say on the, let's say ideally, right? Let's say it's June 15th. We scaled up and we're like, hey, we're pushing sales. Like, should we scale more? This is how we would do it. Literally, I would be on a call. I would go and run the numbers myself. I said, okay, well, June 1st to the 15th, guys, we did this much in sales. Okay. And we've spent this much in ad spend. That puts our MER at 7.9x. That's awesome. Really good. And this obviously would have to be updated through the 15 days if we wanted to get the daily average. But yeah, so hey guys, MER is at a 7.9. Great. Where does that put our final profits if we maintain this at this spend? Okay, well, MER is 7.9. At this point, we're averaging times 15. We're spending about, averaging about $90 a day. Right now, we're looking at, after COGS and ad spend, guys, we're looking at, sorry, this needs to be this, so this needs to be that times 30-day projection. We're going to be spending about $2,700. Final profits will be this, right? So this is how we would look at it and say, man, we got room to grow, right? We got $14,000 cushion. What happens if we scale, right? So now the question comes up, well, okay, MER looks healthy. Our bottom line looks healthy if we maintain this, and we have a big $14,000 cushion. How much should we scale to, right? And that's why I say, okay, well, right now we're averaging $90 a day. Let's increase to $150. What would happen? I just plug it into this calculator here, and it'll actually start spitting out projections, right? So I would tell them, hey, let's increase to $150. Now, here's another thing to note. When you increase budget, naturally that MER, our special little metric here, naturally that's going to take a dip, right? Why? Because you're increasing spend. You're reaching more audiences, more colder audiences. So when you operate at scale, we tend to see tracked ROAS and MER to kind of level out, if you would, right? So when I'm on this call, again, say it's June 16th, hypothetically, going back to our example. June 1 through 15th, hey guys, here's the numbers. Here's what we're looking like. Bottom line's looking good. MER is looking healthy. We should scale to 150. Now, mind you, we scale to 150. Let's anticipate a drop here. We're at a 7.9x MER. Let's anticipate, say, a 7, right? Or heck, even a 6.5. Okay? So it's like, all right, we spent 150, maintain a 6.5 MER. That's going to put our final profits at 18,000. Great. Okay. And then we can start playing what ifs. We can go on and on here, right? It's like, okay, well, what happens if we spend $200 and we maintain that 6.5? Our bottom line's 24, right? So this is how we have the conversations, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? Let's go to 150 starting today on June 16th. MER, let's say it maintains at a 7. If we maintain that MER, spending this much money, we'll end the month here in our final profits, right? So hopefully that makes sense. That's literally, it's all numbers, guys. It's not a guessing game when it comes to scaling. It's literally use the scaling calculator, understand what the KPI is, find that baseline, and as long as you stay above that baseline, you continue to push budget behind your ads. Now, moving forward again, June 16th to the 30th, we scaled budget to $200 a day in June 20th. Finished out the back half of June here, averaging about $1,200 in sales. MER was about a 5.5x, okay? And you can see, right, look at the dip. This is the dip in MER I was telling you about. As you start to operate at scale, don't freak out when you see the MER starting to go down. Totally normal, right? So look at the spend difference. We spent almost 3 times more budget, right, in the back end of the month, and we still maintained, again, a 5.5x. Typically brands are at 3.5. So, and they're very profitable. So still in a good position. Now moved into July. Performance was still rocking and rolling. We bumped up to 250 July 12th. MER maintained above a 5x. So we're starting to see, as we operate at scale, we're starting to establish that baseline, right? And as you can see here, ending July, again, that 5.5, 5 MER, that was now the determination, like, okay, anything above a 5x, we can continue to scale. As you can see, we went from spending $3,500 the first half of July. Back half of July, we spent $5,500, maintained a 5.5x MER. Daily average sales went up to $2,000. All these numbers look promising. They look good. And like I said, we scaled up to 350 July 20th. But yeah, guys, like that's literally how it works. So it's the matter of having ad strategy, but also using numbers, using projections properly to get an idea of like, hey, if we do spend X, what can we expect in return? Well, we can expect this if we maintain this MER. And again, the question, well, how do we maintain MER? How do we get this as high as possible or keep it above a 5X? That's ad copy, creatives, ad strategy, right? Everything you're doing inside the ad account. Now, let's take a moment. So now that we talked about the numbers, broke them down, let's take a moment to jump into the ad account, show you a little bit of the strategy, show you the structure and what happens there and how we did it. We are back in the ad account, and I just mainly want to give you kind of this bird's eye view, this overview of the actual campaign structure and a little bit of the strategy. I'm not going to dive into the nitty gritty of it, but I do want you to understand what was going on in the ad account. Here we have our high quality traffic campaign, and basically what this is, it's not a link click campaign, because link click, like traffic objective campaigns in Facebook, just drives very low quality traffic to your site. We don't want that. This is more so a high quality traffic campaign that drives people to the site. We're telling Facebook to drive people to the site who are most likely to do a certain event, not necessarily a purchase, but view a product on your page or add to cart, right? So that's our high quality traffic campaign. We're focused on literally driving as much traffic to the site as possible. And then we have, of course, our sales campaign, where inside of our sales campaign, we do our audience testing and creative testing here. And out the gate, we were very successful with our target audience. Had ads that performed well off the bat, and we were able to scale and push them and obviously continue to creative test. You'll see this broad audience here. This goes for our high quality traffic campaign. We're kind of giving Facebook more of the reins as far as like, hey, go after whoever. But now that targeted campaign, that interest-based campaign, a little bit more specific, kind of giving Facebook more direction, giving it 4 or 5 different ads. Facebook, go after these people who are most likely interested in this stuff, show them these ads. Right? And then, of course, like I said, we broke out and had a creative testing campaign, because as you operate at scale, you want to stay ahead of the game, because at some point your ads are going to get fatigued, and you need to know, you need to be ready, you need to pivot. So it's always good to have a testing campaign in place. And as you can see here in the account, the account has tracked nearly it's responsible for nearly $80,000 of sales of that $106,000. Now, keep in mind, because of iOS updates and privacy, we know that it's very likely that a lot more sales were attributed back to Facebook. In other words, Facebook is probably more responsible than just $80,000 in sales, right? But because people who opted out of being tracked, they'll click the ad, go to the website and purchase, that doesn't get sent back to Facebook. But nonetheless, still a very healthy number here inside of the ads manager. 5x, 80,000 tracked in sales through our ads. I have another YouTube video where I talk about all these different metrics, why I have them set up this way, and just kind of like showing you the metrics that truly matter, right? Because there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of different click metrics in Facebook, and literally 80% of them do not matter. And then, of course, you can see here our ads were converting really, really strong here, almost at 10%, right? Now you'll see this 0.28%. That's our traffic campaign. We're not concerned about sales in that campaign, right? But you can see our sales campaigns were converting almost at a 10%. So really good success in the ad account here. This brand literally went from 0 to 106K in 77 days, and it's an actual thing, right? Like, I know people will blast their ads and blast their YouTube and everything. Like, look what I did to the brand. But like, this stuff does happen, guys. There is power behind paid ads as long as you have a good product that solves a problem, you have good creatives, and obviously you have an ad strategy. Right, and I think obviously pairing that with logic behind a scaling calculator and tools like that, it's possible to win with paid ads. It's possible to be successful with paid ads, as you've seen in this video, right? Now, to wrap up this video, as I told you in the beginning, if you stick around to the end, I'll give you a little treat, right? So the exact strategy that I used to take this brand from 0 to 106K in 77 days, I literally show you how I did it as far as building the campaign from scratch, how the ad copy looks, what type of ad copy we wrote in the 4E system when we write Facebook ad copy, the UGC content, how to source it, how to create it, and how to successfully use a scaling calculator, right? And literally those step-by-steps that I did with this brand, I show you exactly how to do it in my 90K Meta Ads course. The link's below, and like I said, because you stuck around to the end, I'm giving you $10 off. $10 off, Mike, that's it? It's a $47 course. That's it. And you're thinking, dude, what? You're giving away this value, this strategy, everything for $47? Yes, I am. I don't care, right? So $47, but use code YT10. Snag this thing for $37. There's a link below. I'm not going to put the discount code in the description because I want the people who actually are listening to this to take advantage of it. But yeah, so understand, guys, it's literally a 5-module course where it's like, I think it's like 2 hours, right? Combined, it's like 2.5 hours. I literally show you step by step how to do this all. And the best part is, after implementing this system, if you don't get a sale, I'm literally going to work directly with you until you do, right? So it's a risk-free. I wanted to build something special for Shopify brand owners out there who want to learn how to scale and run their own ads, because quite frankly, guys, it's not that hard. Ad agencies are going to hate me for saying that, but it's not that hard. It's really not. And that's what I really want to do. I wanted to create a special product for those Shopify brand owners who are a little tech savvy, who understand, who are kind of tired of paying ad agencies, don't want to pay someone else to run their ads, and they want to do it themselves. I showed you that, hey, it is possible. It's not that hard. You can do it, and I show you step by step how to do it in my $47 90K Meta Ads course. If you felt like you got something out of this video and you've enjoyed watching it, please be sure to like and subscribe. Obviously, that helps the channel. But more importantly, if you're a Shopify brand owner or someone who runs ads, and you want to learn step by step how to do this, creating the campaign from scratch, go get the course. It's $47. I'm giving it to you for $37. Okay? So, at any rate, guys, it's been real. Until next time, stay winning.